All right, so today let's take a deep dive into something pretty exciting. Interior Design Week Cologne, also known as Passagen 2025.
Hmm.
It's happening January 10th through the 16th. And even if you can't, hop on a plane to Germany,
Right.
we've got a VIP pass in a way. We're going to be going through this article by Sunbin Shi, who is the CEO of ASKT,
Yeah.
a furniture company. And he's been to Passagen more times than I think I've rearranged the furniture in my living room.
Which knowing you is saying something.
Yeah, you got me there. But seriously, what I find really fascinating is that ASKT isn't exhibiting this year,
Right.
but she still sees a ton of value in going.
Yeah. And that's what's really intriguing, I think, about Passagen. It's not about just showing off your own,
Mm.
products and designs.
Hmm.
It's more about immersing yourself in the future of design,
Right.
making those connections that are so crucial and spotting trends before they hit the mainstream. It's like
Yeah,
a design think tank on a citywide scale.
I love that. And she actually calls Cologne a city-sized showroom during Passagen, which,
That's a great way to put it.
yeah, makes total sense, right? Museums, galleries, even cafes transform into these design hubs.
Exactly. So picture this. You're walking down a cobblestone street,
Mm.
coffee in hand,
Mhm.
and bam, you stumble upon the next, you know, big thing in sustainable furniture tucked away in this charming little cafe.
Oh man, now I really want to book a flight, but
That's the magic of Passagen.
yeah, for now, let's break it down.
Right.
Why is this event a must for anyone even remotely connected to, furniture or interior design? What is it that makes it so special?
Well, first of all, it's about experiencing the future of design,
Mm-hmm.
but not in some abstract way. We're talking about seeing, touching, feeling how these designs function in the real world.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to test out that ergonomic chair or
Right.
opening and closing that new cabinet system, you
You're
know?
not just looking at a picture, you're actually getting hands-on.
Exactly. And that leads to a deeper understanding of how these designs can actually solve problems and make lives better.
Right.
Plus, you're surrounded by the people who are driving these innovations,
Mm-hmm.
the designers, the makers, the movers and shakers of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing opportunity to network.
So it's not just inspiration, but it's about, making those connections that can lead to some real business opportunities.
Oh, absolutely. Chi even has this pro tip. I love this. He says to jot down every single moment of inspiration.
Oh, wow.
No matter how fleeting it might seem,
Yeah.
you just never know what little spark is going to ignite some brilliant idea later on.
Yeah, that's great advice. It's like planting seeds of creativity.
Exactly.
That can blossom later. Now, speaking of inspiration, Chi highlights a few must-visit venues. At the top of his list is the MAK,
Okay.
or the Museum of Applied Art Cologne, and it's all about bridging historical craftsmanship with modern, innovation.
And it's so fascinating how MAKK showcases that evolution of design. You can see how techniques and styles from the past influence contemporary pieces.
Mm-hmm.
It really highlights the importance of understanding, design history and its impact on what we see today.
It's like seeing the roots of modern furniture, which I bet is helpful for anyone who's trying to create something new and timeless.
It absolutely gives you a deeper appreciation for the craft
Yeah.
and the lineage of design.
Yeah.
And then there's Design Post, which Key describes as a one-stop shop
Okay.
for the best of European furniture and lighting brands. I can already picture the sleek displays and those beautiful curated spaces.
It sounds perfect for anyone who wants to compare different aesthetics kind of side by side
Yeah.
and really get a feel for what sets each brand apart.
It's like having a condensed version of the entire European furniture market right there in front of you.
Wow.
Imagine being able to scout potential partnerships or get inspiration for your own product lines all in one place.
That's incredibly valuable, especially for businesses trying to, refine their offerings and stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Now, Key also mentions Das Haus on Ehrenstrasse, and this one sounds really cool.
Yeah.
It's all about experiencing those full-scale interior environments.
So think about it. Instead of just seeing individual pieces, you get to walk into a fully furnished living room or dining area
Okay.
and experience how everything works together.
Yeah.
You can really get a sense of the flow, the functionality, and the mood of the space.
It must be so much easier to visualize how those design concepts would play out, in your own home or your own project.
Exactly. And it can spark some really interesting ideas for layouts, color palettes, and material combinations you wouldn't have thought of otherwise.
Oh, for sure. Okay, I'm adding that to my list for
Yeah.
sure. But wait, there's another spot she mentions that sounds absolutely wild.
Okay.
Kunsthofen. This is where art and function collide, apparently pushing the boundaries of what we even consider home furnishings.
Kunststoffen is where you go to be challenged and surprised. You'll find these installations that blur the lines between art and design,
Okay.
pieces that make you really question your assumptions about what furniture can even be. It's definitely a place to let your imagination run free.
I'm getting the sense that Kunststoffen is not for the faint of heart, but it sounds incredible for anyone who really wants to discover, unique and unconventional designs.
It's all about pushing those boundaries and embracing the unexpected.
I love that. Okay, so we've got these incredible venues offering a glimpse into the future of design, but what are the specific trends that Chi thinks are going to be dominating Passage in 2025?
Well, he breaks down a few key areas to pay attention to. The first one is sustainable materials,
Okay.
which honestly isn't just a trend anymore, it's a necessity.
Right. It's not a gimmick. It's like
Yeah.
consumers are demanding this now.
And what's really interesting is that it's gone way beyond just using recycled materials.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about innovative manufacturing processes, new bio-based materials,
Right.
and a real focus on the entire life cycle of the product, from the
Right.
sourcing to disposal.
And it's not just about being eco-friendly, it's about creating those high-quality pieces that are durable and can stand the test of time, which ties in perfectly with T's company's practices. ASKT actually uses honeycomb paper protection and minimizes plastic in their packaging.
Yeah, that's a great example of companies walking the walk when it comes to sustainability.
Right.
But what I find especially fascinating is how these sustainable materials are being integrated into designs in beautiful and innovative ways.
So it's not just about being green, it's about really elevating the entire aesthetic
Right.
and creating pieces that are stylish and sustainable.
Exactly.
Okay, so next up on She's list is multifunctional furniture, which makes a ton of sense in today's world.
Especially with smaller living spaces becoming the norm and so many people working from home.
Right.
It's all about maximizing functionality without sacrificing style or comfort.
Think about a dining table that transforms into a desk or a sofa that turns into a guest bed.
Right?
It's brilliant.
It's not just about saving space. It's about creating these flexible and adaptable environments that can evolve as our needs do.
Yeah, and so you've got this need for space, which is pushing these designers to get creative with their solutions. And then on top of that, you have the rise of technology.
Exactly.
Which brings us to Chi's next trend, smart integrations in furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am all for a little bit of tech in my life, but when it comes to furniture, I prefer things to be a bit more subtle.
Right.
And it seems like that's where this trend is heading.
You're right. It's not about having flashing lights and buttons everywhere. It's about seamlessly integrating that technology
Right.
in a way that enhances the user experience without being too intrusive.
So give me an example. What kind of smart integrations are we talking about?
Okay, so imagine a chair with built-in charging ports or a desk with adjustable height settings
Yeah, okay.
that you can control with an app.
Oh, wow.
It's about making our furniture work harder for us, but in a way that's discreet and stylish.
Yeah, I can see how that would be really appealing, especially for someone who, wants a clean aesthetic. You get the functionality without having to sacrifice the design. Now, speaking of aesthetics, Chi also highlights this specific design trend that he's calling eco-chic.
This one is all about bringing the outdoors in, creating spaces that feel really calm, natural, and connected to nature.
Mm-hmm.
Think earthy color palettes, natural textures like wood and stone, and a focus on organic shapes and forms.
It's interesting how this ties back to the sustainability trend that we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
There's this growing desire to create these spaces that reflect a more conscious and mindful approach to living.
Absolutely. It's about surrounding ourselves with things that make us feel grounded and connected to the natural world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about aesthetics. It's about using materials and finishes that are good for us and the planet.
Okay, so we've covered sustainable materials, multifunctional designs, smart integrations, and the eco-chic aesthetic. What's the last trend that Chi has his eye on for Passage in 2025?
Okay, this one's a bit more technical, but incredibly important. New structural innovations.
Okay.
Essentially, it's about the way furniture is being built
Right.
and the materials that are being used.
So we're talking about like advanced welding techniques for creating stronger chair frames or new types of engineered wood that are more durable and sustainable.
Exactly. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible in terms of construction and materials.
Yeah.
And this has a huge impact on the overall quality, longevity, and sustainability of furniture.
Okay, so we've got the venues and we've got the trends, but what does all of this mean for someone who's actually going to Passagen? What are the key takeaways?
Well, that's where things get really interesting, and that's what we're going to be exploring in part 2.
Okay, so we've walked through those must-see venues, and we've gotten a glimpse of the trends that Chi thinks are going to be front and center. But let's get down to, the brass tacks. What's the takeaway for someone who's attending Passagen? Why should they care about all this?
Well, imagine this. You're at Passagen surrounded by all this cutting-edge design,
Right.
and suddenly you have a light bulb moment.
Okay.
You see how a certain material could be used in your own product line,
Mm-hmm.
or how a specific design element could solve a problem you've been grappling with.
It's like one of those aha moments where everything just clicks.
Exactly.
And I bet those happen a lot at Passagen.
They do, and that's what Chi emphasizes. The real value isn't just about seeing, pretty things.
Hmm.
It's about how you translate those inspirations into tangible results
Okay.
for your business or projects.
So it's about taking that creative energy and turning it into something practical, something you can actually use.
Right, and that's where the networking aspect comes in. Chi stresses that the furniture industry is all about people and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
At Passagen, you're not just observing, you're connecting with designers, manufacturers, suppliers,
Right.
the whole ecosystem of the industry.
You could meet your next business partner just sipping espresso at,
Absolutely.
a design showcase.
And those chance encounters can lead to collaborations that wouldn't have happened otherwise.
Mhm.
You might find a manufacturer who can actually bring your design ideas to life,
Wow.
or a supplier who has the perfect material for your next project.
Mm. And she also talks about the importance of understanding those trends, not just for creating new products,
Mhm.
but making sure your existing portfolio has longevity.
Right. It's about making those smart choices that will stand the test of time, both in terms of style and quality.
Yeah.
Imagine you invest in a furniture collection,
Right.
and then a year later, it's already out of date.
Ouch. Yeah. Nobody wants that.
That's a costly mistake.
Right.
But if you can anticipate those trends, you can create pieces that stay relevant longer,
Mm-hmm.
which is good for business and the environment.
Exactly. And that's where events like Passagen, I think, can give you a real competitive edge. You can see what's coming down the pipeline
Yes.
and make those informed decisions about your product development and your marketing strategy.
And speaking of marketing,
Mm-hmm.
she points out that Passagen can be a goldmine of inspiration for things like retail displays
Okay.
and even ad campaigns.
Interesting.
You're seeing how other brands are presenting their products,
Mm-hmm.
how they're using lighting and space,
Mm-hmm.
how they're telling their story.
So it makes you think differently about how you present your own brand.
It's like a masterclass in visual merchandising.
Yeah, and how you connect with your audience. And it all ties back to what we were talking about earlier, those aha moments of inspiration.
Right. It's not just about passively observing. It's about actively seeking out those moments of inspiration.
Right.
And then asking yourself, how can I apply this to my own work?
Okay, that makes sense. And that leads us to Chi's personal advice for attendees. He's a big believer in bringing a camera and an open mind to Passagen.
He's all about documenting those moments of inspiration, those
Mhm.
details that catch your eye, those conversations that spark new ideas.
Right.
It's about capturing that creative energy and then revisiting it later,
Yeah.
allowing those seeds to germinate.
He even suggests giving those unconventional ideas a second look.
Yes,
What might seem out there at first glance could actually be the next big thing.
absolutely. Some of the most groundbreaking innovations started as ideas that people dismissed as too weird or too impractical. It's about being open to those unexpected possibilities.
In having the courage to try something new, even if it means stepping outside your comfort zone. Which is interesting because even though ASKT isn't exhibiting at Passagen this year,
Right.
Key is still going,
He is.
eager to soak it all in and connect with, other design enthusiasts.
It really speaks to the power of this event.
Yeah.
It's not just a trade show, it's a celebration of creativity, innovation,
Right.
and the future of design.
And she emphasizes that even though ASKT isn't showcasing its own, products this time around, they're still very much open to collaborating on new ideas.
He highlights their impressive R&D center.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whopping 1,200 square meters, and their commitment to rigorous testing protocols and sustainability.
So they clearly take quality and innovation seriously.
Absolutely. And they have a global network of factories, so they're well equipped to turn those sparks of inspiration
Right.
into real tangible product.
It's like she's saying, come to Passagen, get inspired, and let's make something amazing together.
Exactly. He sees the future of furniture design as a collaborative effort.
Mm-hmm.
And Passagen provides that perfect platform for finding those collaborators, those like-minded people
Right.
who share that passion for pushing boundaries.
All right, so we've covered why Passagen is such a valuable event.
Mm-hmm.
And we've touched on some of those takeaways for people who are going to be there.
Yes.
But what about the listener? What's the so what for them?
Well, that's what I find so fascinating about all of this.
Mm.
Even if you can't hop on a plane to Cologne,
Right.
the trends and insights we've gotten from Key's perspective can still be incredibly valuable.
It's about opening our minds to those new possibilities.
Exactly.
And seeing how those global trends might be relevant to our own lives, our own work, our own, design sensibilities.
And that's what we'll explore in part 3. We'll delve into how these trends are shaping the broader design landscape. All right. And what it means for all of us who are, passionate about creating those beautiful and functional spaces.
Okay, so we've spent all this time talking about Passagen 2025 and all the cool stuff it offers. But maybe you're thinking, all right, that's awesome for those lucky folks heading to Cologne, but what about me?
Right. And that's the beauty of these deep dives. We can extract these golden nuggets of knowledge and see how they actually apply to you, even if you're miles away from, all the action.
Okay, so let's connect the dots then.
Sure.
We've got sustainable materials, multifunctional furniture, smart integrations,
Right.
and this eco-chic aesthetic. They all seem to point towards a shift in how we think about design in general.
Exactly. It's not just about aesthetics anymore. It's about creating pieces that are functional, durable, and responsible, both ethically and environmentally.
So we're moving towards a more conscious approach to design.
Precisely. And that's being reflected in the trends we're seeing at Passagen and beyond. Consumers are demanding more from the furniture they bring into their homes and workspaces.
They want pieces that tell a story that reflect their values.
Yes.
And that enhance their lives without harming the planet.
And that's a really exciting shift because it's pushing designers and manufacturers to think outside the box, to experiment with new materials and technologies, and create pieces that are truly innovative and meaningful.
It's like we were saying earlier about that eco-chic aesthetic with its natural textures and earthy tones. It's not just a passing trend.
Right.
It reflects this deeper desire to connect with nature,
Yes.
to bring that sense of calm and tranquility into our spaces.
And that connection to nature ties in really well with the sustainability movement. It's about recognizing that we're part of a larger ecosystem and our design choices have an impact on the world around us.
Okay, so how can we as consumers and design enthusiasts embrace these trends and actually make conscious choices? What are some steps we can take?
Well, first and foremost, I'd say it's about being informed. Do your research, ask questions, and look for brands that align with your values. Seek companies that are transparent about their sourcing practices, their manufacturing processes, and their commitment to sustainability.
And don't be afraid to invest in those quality pieces that are built to last.
Yes.
It might mean spending a little more upfront, but it's an investment in the long run, both for your wallet and for the environment.
Absolutely. Think about it this way. A well-crafted piece of furniture can actually become a cherished heirloom.
Right?
Something you can pass down through generations. It's an investment in quality craftsmanship and timeless design.
It's about moving away from that throwaway culture and embracing a more mindful approach to consumption.
And remember, it's not always about buying brand new things. Sometimes the most sustainable option is to give existing pieces a new life. Upcycle, repurpose, refinish.
I love that.
There are so many creative ways to transform what you already have.
It's about getting creative, being resourceful, and finding beauty in unexpected places. And it's also about supporting local artisans and craftspeople who are creating those unique and handcrafted pieces.
Exactly. By supporting those who are passionate about quality and craftsmanship, we're investing in a more sustainable and soulful approach to design.
So even though we can't all be at Passagen, in person, we can still be inspired by the trends and the innovations that are shaping the future of furniture design.
And we can take those ideas and bring them into our own homes and workspaces, creating environments that reflect our values, enhance our lives, and contribute to a more sustainable future.
And who knows, maybe the sparks of inspiration will lead to, our own design innovations one day.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
All it takes is an open mind, a curious spirit, and a willingness to embrace the beauty of good design.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of furniture design. We hope you've come away with some new perspectives and a new appreciation for the power of design to shape our world.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep those design sparks flying.